All right, guys, so we're at one of the most fascinating moments in American culture / politics that I've seen in a long time, right? The left all last year told these athletes and celebrity entertainers that happen to be black that, hey, we love you because you're black, right? We love you because you're black. We need black voices, right? We need you to speak up regarding the issue of police brutality, right? An issue that they feel like all black people should be passionate about, okay? So when it came to that issue, they wanted black people to speak up simply because they're black, right? They're athlete, they have influence. Stand up for what you believe in, they said, okay? Stand up for what you believe in. Stand up for your principles. But now all of a sudden, you have these same athletes and these same celebrities that the left has praised all year for standing up for their principles and their beliefs. Essentially, have now come out here and are standing up for their principles and their beliefs, and now they're being framed as black pawns on a white chessboard. Black pawns on a white chessboard. What this author is essentially saying is that because you don't agree with us and the white liberals, right? Well, mainly the white liberals, you are black pawns on the white chessboard. And I just want you guys to understand exactly what this man is saying here. What he's saying is that you're a black pawn on a white chessboard because you either support medical freedom, right? The freedom to choose, okay? Or you don't want to fold to the woke mob in regards to jokes. And therefore, that makes you a black pawn on a white chessboard. I just want people to understand what this man is actually saying. It just so happens that the author that wrote this, Carron J Phillips, is a black man that is a senior editor at Deadspin, which is ran by a white man and owned by a media company that is overwhelmingly majority white, right? So again, I don't know, man. Sounds to me like he might be projecting a little bit here, but I'm not sure. But before we get into what this guy is writing about, I want you guys to watch this video about Dave Chappelle speaking out about the situation going on with trans employees at Netflix and how he's not backing down and how they're trying to cancel them. And then after that, we're going to play a video of Floyd Mayweather sticking up for Kyrie Irving. Take a look.
It's been said in the press that I was invited to speak to the transgender employees at Netflix, and I refuse. That is not true. If they had invited me, I would have accepted it, although I am confused about what we are speaking about. I said what I said, and boy, I heard what you said. My God, how could I not? You said you want a safe working environment at Netflix. Well, it seems like I'm the only one that can't go to the office anymore. I want everyone in this audience to know that even though the media frames us that it's me versus that community, that is not what it is. Do not blame the LGBTQ community for any of this shit. This has nothing to do with them. It's about corporate interests and what I can say and what I cannot say.
Kyrie, what's up? I know you're going through a lot. We had a chance to hang out in 2016 when you represented America, when you represented the red, white, and blue. You only want to be treated fair. I was going to post something on one of my social media pages, but I decided to do it the old school way and read it out to you because you're a great person, great father, great athlete, and you believe what you believe. America is the land of the free. Freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and supposedly freedom to choose. Never be controlled by money. I respect you for having some integrity and being your own man. A free mind makes its own choices. An enslaved mind follows the crowd. Stand for something or fall for anything. One man can lead a revolution to stand up and fight for what's right. One choice, one word, one action can change the world. It's crazy how people hate you for being a leader. I hope your actions encourage many others to stand up and say enough is enough. Respect to you, Kyrie, and power to the people.
Yeah, so it's probably safe to say that this author would throw Floyd Mayweather into the mix as a black pawn on a white chessboard, simply because, you know, he's standing up for Kyrie and his stance, right, and freedom of choice, right, and Dave Chappelle is essentially standing up for free speech, right? So when you stand up for people's fundamental rights, regardless of whether you're black or white, doesn't matter. You're just playing up on a white chess board. So this is a continuation of the left trying to play up into this narrative that certain positions and certain traits as well too, or personality traits, lifestyles, they're fundamentally white, right? Just like if you value, you know, individualism, hard work, capitalism, you know, rational thinking, that's white, right? If you stand up for free speech and the freedom of choice when it comes to what you want to put in your body, that's white. Okay, this is how they frame these issues. I do want to read a little bit here about what the argument that this guy is making, and then just kind of comment on it, because this takes you inside the mind of the so-called black liberal and how they really think about people that think differently from them. Kyrie Irving and Dave Chappelle are getting played. This isn't a battle of free speech or free will, and no matter how some may try to spin it, this isn't a debate about whether or not the government or corporate entities should be allowed to mandate human rights. No. That's literally exactly what this is. This is a battle of free speech and whether or not the government should be able to mandate human rights. That's exactly what it is. But see, they don't want to have the argument on those merits and on those terms because they will lose. They can't play the race card on that, right? So therefore, they have to say, well, it's not about that. It's not about that, when that's literally what it's about. No, what we're watching is two men who falsely believe that their good intentions trump faulty execution, while not realizing that their names and stances are being pimped by the same people they wanted to stand against. Okay, wait, hold on. This is exactly why our politics is so screwed up right now, right? Because what this guy is essentially saying is that, well, I have a problem with this because these same people that Kyrie Irving and Dave Chappelle are standing with to a certain extent, well, they didn't like Black Lives Matter, or they don't want police reform. Okay? So therefore, this is wrong because you're standing with people on an issue when they didn't agree with you last year. Well, the issue is that that's not how our politics should be. That's not how people should be. People should not be trapped in a box where it's like, I literally have to just agree with everything my side agrees with, even if I don't agree with it, right? That's not how it should be. It should really be, okay, I might not necessarily agree with you on all these issues, but I do agree with you on this issue, and I'm willing to come and work with you on this issue regardless of our disagreements. That's actually how it should be. Again, this is why politics is so screwed up in this country, because we're playing for a team rather than playing based off an issue, right? The difference between the left and the right, I keep having to explain this. The right leads with the issue. It's like, okay, we don't really agree with you on the whole defunding the police thing, right? So therefore, yeah, we're going to speak out against it, but it has nothing to do with your race. It has nothing to do with your race. So if you agree with us on another issue, hey, that's great. We'll stand with you on that one issue. That's how it's supposed to be. The left, on the other hand, they're like, no. We care about your race. It's about your race, right? It's about the fact that you're black. Because they believe that most black people happen to agree with them. And if you don't agree with them and you're black, then they're going to give you some trouble, right? They're going to cause you some trouble. That's not good. So they lead with, well, you're black and we love you because of that. But yeah, you also got to agree with us too. And if you don't, then you're either not black or you're a black pawn playing on the white man's chess game. Even though the irony here is that the person who's writing this is a black liberal who works for white people, right? I mean, I think this is projection, but yes, that's the difference between the left and the right. The left has racialized policy position, which basically means that in order for you to truly be a certain race, in order for you to truly be black, you have to agree with all the positions of the white liberal, right? Funny how that works. And in this situation right here, this author is essentially arguing that you're either less black or that you are a black pawn on the white chessboard if you disagree with government mandates and freedom of speech. So let's read a little bit more here. Like Irving, Wizard star Bradley Beal is an anti-vaxxer, which is patently false. And honestly, I wish these people would start suing these outlets for defamation. Because just because you are against the mandate does not mean that, one, you're unvaccinated, and does not mean that you are an anti-vaxxer. A lot of people that are against the mandates are actually vaccinated, and they encourage people to get the vaccine. They do. But that's not enough for these people. Because, again, even if you're vaccinated and you encourage people to get it, apparently you're still an anti-vaxxer if you don't think that the government should mandate it. It's insane. It's nuts. But unlike Irving, he isn't catching as much heat, nor has he willingly become the face of a movement. On Sunday, protesters against vaccine mandates broke through barricades at the Barclays Center, chanting, "Let Kyrie play." It was a disturbing scene for many reasons, but mainly because it was very reminiscent of what we saw take place on January 6th. Again, here they go, pulling up January 6th. I told you, they're going to compare it to January 6th. And they're going to throw all the black people that were there in support of it, they're going to throw them in the same boat as Trump supporters if you don't go along with the liberal narrative. That's how they play this game. Sunday was also the same day that Rolling Stone dropped an exclusive report on how some of the white homegrown terrorists that stormed the Capitol revealed that they had participated in dozens of plannings and meetings with members of Congress and White House staff as promises of blanket pardons were made from the Oval Office. Again, so what this person essentially implying here is that, well, the fact that these people who I don't like are in agreement with your principles, therefore, you standing for your principles is wrong because I don't like these people, right? I don't like these so-called white supremacists. So you can't stand with them even if your principles align on the same issue. And if you do that, you're either less black or you're a black pawn on the white chessboard, right? Yeah, this is this man's argument. Irving, the man that has been more generous with his time and money by donating to the WNBA, his Native American people, to the hungry, and even bought a house for George Floyd's family, is now being used as a puppet by the same crowd who doesn't give a damn about his black life. See, again, the issue here is that you've racialized issues. All these issues right here, I guarantee you, they have no problems with what he did in this situation because they see that as pro-black. But now, because he's standing on his principles, the same principles that led to him doing these things, these other activities, donating to WNBA, Native American people, or buying a house of George Floyd. These are his principles, things that he fundamentally believes in. Him continuing to stand on these things, all of a sudden now, he's a puppet, right? Simply because you disagree on one or two issues. And it just goes to show, the left is one of those places where you can't be a part of the club unless you agree with them on 99% of issues. That's why you have so many people that are being disaffected from the left, that are leaving the left just because they're like, you literally have to agree with them 99% on everything. This is what happens when you think that you're always the smartest person in the room, when you're actually just a narcissist that surrounds himself with idiots. To us, you're a contrarian without a cause. To them, you're a gullible pawn. Woo! So he said he's a narcissist that surrounds himself with idiots. Okay, so was he surrounded with idiots when he did all those things above that you outlined? Oh, no, those people, he weren't surrounding himself with idiots. But when it comes to this stance right here, oh, no, he's surrounding himself with idiots. Other idiots that happen to be Black Lives Matter as well, right? Black Lives Matter in New York that basically protested in favor of Kyrie. Again, kind of crazy how the tables turn here. Also on Monday, Dave Chappelle proved that he's forever fallen down the same hole that Irving has when he released a video on Instagram in which he once again dug into his stance. As he tries to play the victim due to the controversy his latest stand-up special, The Closer, has caused at Netflix and within the LGBTQ community because of his continued harmful jokes against the trans community. Earlier this month, Netflix suspended a trans employee that publicly spoke out against Chappelle. This is what happens when you see yourself as the leader of a genre, comedy, during a time in which most of your colleagues feel like they're the only ones that shouldn't be required to evolve. They shouldn't be required to evolve, right? Well, evolve for what? Comedy is comedy. Comedy is a space that should not be touched, right? Where, we should push the limits of free speech in comedy, right? If Dave Chappelle folds, that spells bad news for everybody else not just in comedy, but outside of comedy as well, that creates content or that comments on these type of issues, right? So Dave Chappelle can't fold, right? But see, what this really is about, guys, what it's really about, it is the liberal agenda of, well, if you don't support the LGBTQ community 100%, right, then you're not black, right? As if being black and LGBTQ is one and the same. That's what they literally want you to think. That's what they want you to think, that the LGBTQ agenda and what they want is the same as the black agenda, right? That's what he's trying to say here, and that's why he's so upset with Dave Chappelle, because a lot of people see Dave Chappelle's comments as, well, it's anti-LGBTQ, and therefore it's anti-black, right? And therefore it's pro-white. That's why he's saying that Dave Chappelle's a pawn here. To us, you're a contrarian with a flawed and outdated cause. To them, you're an easily manipulated pawn, right? Outdated cause. Free speech is an outdated cause. Yes. That's what this person is arguing. At this point, I'm unbothered by those who agree or disagree with Irving and Chappelle, because we've reached a moment where you're steadfast on what side you stand when it comes to them. But right now, this isn't about who's making good points or raging against the machine. It's about willingly falling victim to a crowd of people who would never do the same for you, as Irving and Chappelle's narcissism has left them blind to the fact that they've become puppets in a real-time minstrel show, and the hands that are pulling those strings are white. Well, here's the thing. The hands that are pulling your strings are white. This guy who wrote this article, again, I just find the cognitive dissonance here to be absolutely amazing. But isn't that what this is supposed to be about? Doesn't that disprove the idea that, well, the people on the right, they're just racist against black people? Doesn't that just prove that it's really about the issues and not about race? Isn't that what it proves? Right? Isn't that how things are supposed to work, where it's like, hey, you know what? I don't agree with you on everything, but if I agree with you on this issue, again, regardless of your race, regardless of all that other stuff, then I'm going to stand with you. That's how it's supposed to work. But this guy right here, he doesn't want to live in a world like that. He want to live in a world where you cannot stand with anybody that he deems to be a bad person, right? Somebody that he does not like, right? Or therefore you're anti-black, okay? So again, this guy's racism is really showing here, right? I mean, look who's supporting him. For Irving, the likes of Marjorie Taylor Greene, Clay Travis, Laverne Spencer, Donald Trump Jr., and Ted Cruz, individuals that have proven through words, actions, and legislation that they don't care about black people, especially the ones that dribble a basketball for a living. Okay, so what do you define as caring about black people, right? Because if you ask me, I would say that the Biden administration up until this point, in terms of what they've done in regards to their promises to the black community, he hasn't done anything. Add on top of that, Joe Biden's past and being associated with Klan members, and then also passing the 90s crime bill, right? Which, you know, a lot of people on the left say, hey, that is what is responsible for so many black people getting locked up. So if you tell me that is what caring about black people is, right? When Trump, under his administration, under his policies, under Republicans, they enacted prison reform. They did opportunity zones. They increased HBCU funding. But for whatever reason, no, they don't really care about black people, right? Lowest black unemployment in history under Trump. No. Their words, action, legislation show that they don't care about black people. Really? Interesting argument. Again, it's not about the results. It's simply about, do you agree with white liberals? That's what it's about. And these guys are the same people that'll turn around and accuse black people on the other side of being pawns, when they are simply pawns themselves. For Chappelle, comedians like Joe Rogan, Louis C.K. and Jon Stewart have all supported him in some form. White men that have a history of crossing the line when it comes to saying or doing insensitive things towards black people and women, or either come off as progressive commentators when it's convenient. Kyrie can't see the back screen coming. Dave Chappelle doesn't realize he's a punchline. Who's the pawn now? You are the pawn. That is the answer to that question. You are the pawn, because these guys, unlike this guy right here, Mr. Carron J Phillips, all these guys that he's going after are independent, right? Kyrie Irving is rich enough to where if he never plays any basketball ever again, him and his family is set for life, for generations to come. Dave Chappelle, him and his family is set for life for generations to come. Floyd Mayweather, him and his family are set for life for generations to come. These people are not financially dependent on the woke liberal establishment for payment like this guy is, right? They're not dependent on that. So they can stand up and say what they want to say, and it doesn't matter because essentially cancellation doesn't affect them like that. Again, it's crazy how these people who, again, stood by these athletes and these celebrities simply because they were black last year and they thought that they agreed with them on every single issue, they stood by them. But as soon as these people don't agree with them on the issues, all of a sudden now you're questioning their blackness. You're saying that, hey, you're being a pawn for the white man because you don't agree with the white liberal, right? It's crazy how this works. But let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a black conservative perspective. Peace.